Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. As promised from my last video, today I'm going to be sharing with you guys my ups and downs on how I put up the Christmas garland. A couple years ago, I purchased two types of traditional Christmas garlands, one that was flocked and one that wasn't. I did this because some years I like to combine the different types of garlands. So sometimes I'll even add some lamb's ear garland or some other things to this. But this year, based on the theme, I have to combine these two. To do so, I simply place one on top of the other. Then I start mixing the branches together until it looks seamless, as if it was one very fluffy garland. Once I was happy with how the garland looked, it was time to place it on the rail. I used these banister ties to secure the garland into place. I simply find the loop already available in the garland, pass it through there, then secure it onto the banister. I like the loop look. So sometimes it's also even called swag look. So basically, I put my garland at the top and the bottom, and then I hook it in the middle. You can twist it along the banister. You can place it as one long, simple line. Regardless of how you place it, once it's set, make sure to step back, look at it, and alterate anything that needs to be put in the correct spot. For the edges, to give it a hanging effect, I use picks versus hanging the actual garland. Similar to the garland, I have some flocked ones and some non flocked. For this year, I'm using the flocked ones. And I simply place the banister tie into place. Then I loop the pick into the tie and let it hang. I like to add lights onto the garland. And since there's no outlet near my actual banister, I use battery operated lights that I purchase off of Amazon. To ensure the battery box doesn't fall out of place, I simply use the same banister's tie to secure it. In my opinion, these lights are great. They come with 8 different settings, a remote control to easily turn them on and off, and they're very affordable. I would highly recommend. Now for the fun part. Let's start decorating. I added some gold poinsettias to the ends to hide the transition from the garland to the pick. These are clip on, so they're very simple to just put them in place. Then I started working on attempts of the ornament garland. I started off by using some floral wire, stringing the ornament in, and then twisting it into place. I did leave it long enough to where I can place it onto the actual garland and secure it. Then I cut it about 3 to 4 feet long. I started adding the ornaments, one of each color: gold, pink, blue, and green, since those were the colors I used this year. After about a handful of spears in, I realized I did not like how this was coming out. There were too many colors, too many textures, and there wasn't really a pattern happening. So I decided to undo this and then try it again with only two colors. I started off with pink and gold. Once I had a good sized string of ornaments, I went to the garland to see how I could place it to where it made sense. It was just too big. It was overpowering, and it felt like this strand of garland just maybe needed some smaller ornaments for it to work, but this was just not working. So I decided to change the strategy. I separated the long string of ornaments and made clusters. With the aid of the floral wire, I set each cluster into place, leaving about a foot or so in between clusters. When I was done with the pink and gold, I simply repeated the process with the blue and green ornaments. At the end, I felt this was missing a little something more. So I ended up adding some ribbon. If I would have thought this through, I would have first placed the ribbon and then the spears. But in this case, I did it backwards. And to be honest with you, I was not going to undo what I had already done. For the final touch, I added the stockings. These stockings are the ones I use every year. And all I do is change the ribbon on top. Since last year I used pink and gold for the tree, this worked just as well for this year. For them to not lay flat on the banister, I simply filled it up with plastic bags to give it the illusion that they were filled with good stocking items. And once everything was completed, this is the finished product. This is very different than what I traditionally do. I typically rely heavily on ribbon when it comes to the garland, but this year I wanted to do a little something outside of my comfort zone. And I think it worked out nicely. What do you guys think? My thoughts if I was to do something differently would be more lights, at least twice the amount. One thing I wish they made were the net lights, but for garland, something similar that we use outdoor on the bushes, but just thin and long. I don't know. That's an idea for anybody that wants to run with it. The other thing is that I want to try a full ornament string. But for that, I'm definitely going to need a lot more ornaments and I need them to be smaller. So, believe me, I will be on the lookout on December 26th to get any of those special offers after Christmas sales. But in the end, I like how this came out. Well, that's going to be the last holiday video I'll be sharing with you guys for a while. If you like it and you got something out of it, please don't forget to like and to subscribe to my channel. It doesn't cost you anything and it helps me out a ton. If you're curious about the material I used, I will link whatever I can find in the description below. I appreciate you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you next time here at Angie's Crafts Furniture Renovation. Happy holidays!